APNvideo.com is on the air. We're coming to you from Tempe Diablo Stadium, the winter home of the Los Angeles Angels. And today it's home to the MSBL World Series 2024 as the South Bay Zephyrs take on Connecticut. And I'm Jeff Lowry with APN Sports. It's been a great tournament so far for Antone Henley's team. They come into this game with a 5-0 record, this being the final game of round-robin play in this 60-and-over division. For Connecticut, they are looking for their second win in this tournament. And there's the Zephyrs' longtime head coach and founder, Antone Henley. I had a chance to talk to MVP before the game.
Yeah, well, I started out when I was around 9 years old, back in New York. That's where I was born and growing up until I was 10. And my first Little League game, I was a pitcher, and I threw a no-hitter. For a 9-year-old, so I pitched like 4 innings and I had a no-hitter. So I love this game. I went to our Little League team went to Yankee Stadium, and we sat in the left field bleachers, and Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Whitey Ford were all playing that day. Mickey hit a home run. Roger hit a home run. Whitey won the game, and they were playing the Cleveland Indians at that time. And Rocky Colavito was in left field, man. So at that point, I loved it. Then I came to California, and my brother, Jim, who got signed by the Angels back in 1969 and played 3 years in the minor league Angels organization, and he taught me everything. And the biggest thing he ever taught me is said, Pete, you're a good ball player. You don't have to be great. You don't have to have all the talent in the world, but if you have smarts and you play smart, you can be as good as anybody else. And I stuck with that all my life, playing up to that point. So I'm loving it. I love baseball. I play it. I drive my wife crazy because I play baseball and softball during the week. The recent one was the LABL League in Los Angeles, and I'm the only pitcher, and we play 18 games a season. And I got us to the championship game twice, straight through. So I'm having fun. I just love baseball so much. But I pay everything that the talent I've got and the smarts I got is from my brother Jim. Love you, Jim.
All right, fantastic. All right, back here at Tempe Diablo Stadium, John Beatty, the gentleman behind this gentleman, is the starting pitcher today for Greg Shinda's Connecticut Navigators and the manager of the Zephyrs, Antone Henley.
What's going on?
How you doing? Bruce.
Antone.
Hi, Tone.
Antone, man.
How you doing, bud?
Good. How you been?
Good.
All right, the two managers exchanging lineups, Greg Shinda in the blue and in the dark blue for the Zephyrs, Antone Henley. Final instructions for the team before they take the field. They'll be led by one of the top players in the 60-and-over division, Augie Alonso. And, of course, the man with the greatest baseball name of all time, Gaston Escudero. So the Zephyrs take the field, and they'll be behind the pitching of one of the best and affectionately known as MVPs. We're in the 60 Cactus. And we're ready to go. Connecticut most likely out of the playoff picture, while, of course, the Zephyrs come in here undefeated at 5-0. So we're ready to go. Carrazzo will start things off, and the pitch is in there for a strike, and this game is underway. It'll be Mark Carrazzo, Paul Carrazzo, and Saunders, the first three. Pete Cesario was a big hero in that 21 60-and-over national championship. Ground ball third. It's gobbled up there, and the long throw across is in time, and there's one down.
The battery today for the Zephyrs. Catching, number 10, Donnie Noel. And pitching, number 26.
So Mike Pedotti down at third base. He's another one you could consider one of the top players in this 60-and-over Cactus League. So the last play goes 5-3, and the batter's going to be Paul Carrazzo. So the Carrozza brothers at the top of the order here for Greg Schenda. He has been with the Connecticut Navigators since day one. You probably have to go back to their late 90s when they started, or early 2000s. Trying to go by memory, but nonetheless, there's a walk, and the batter is going to be the fleet-footed outfielder Ken Saunders. Saunders takes a first pitch from MVP. That's a called strike. Swung on, popped up back at first base, but really no chance for Arbelo, the first baseman. And another pop-up, but that's going to find the seats out of play. Ivkovic is on deck. Should they get there, runner at first with one out. We're in the top of the first and just underway from the winter home of the, I guess they've changed the name of the team again, not the nickname, but the city or the area. It's been just about everything since the Angels came into the league in '65. That's a swing and a miss, and the first strikeout of the day for Pete Cesario. So with two down, that will bring up John Ivkovic. He takes a strike, 0-1. So now they're just Los Angeles Angels. They're not the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They're not the Orange County Angels. That's strike two called, and another quality pitch. Runner at first, two out. And the 0-2 pitch to the cleanup hitter. And it's way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Temperature in the high 70s, probably actually low 80s here today. A beautiful day for baseball. Pete winds, kicks, and deals, and it's softly hit to the shortstop. And that's picked off there by Augie Alonso, and the side is retired. No runs, a walk, and 1 left. Neary patrolling at second base here for Antone Henley, and a good inning and a good start for the Zephyrs. Augie Alonso to start it off here for the South Bay Zephyrs, the shortstop. Augie Alonso, I don't know what it is. When he is on video, he seems to rise to the occasion. He'll take a strike. We're in the home half of the first inning. So Connecticut fails to score, and now South Bay. And it's popped up, and this is on the infield, and the Connecticut second baseman will haul it in. That's Lanier, 1 down. So they keep the good wheels off the base pass by inducing him into a pop-up. And now Gaston Escudero, who's been on APN a few times himself. Nobody on with 1 out. We're in the home half of the first inning in this 60 and over Cactus Division action. And on the mound, we have 2 11s on the roster for Connecticut. This is John Beatty, longtime Connecticut Navigator, and going up against Escudero. Not sure if that was a strike or not. It runs the count to 2 balls and 1 strike on him. So Henley putting 2 of his fastest, if not his 2 fastest guys at the top of the order, and trying to just wreak some havoc if they can get on base. Alonso pops up to the shortstop to start the game. And that ball hit him, and so South Bay will have a runner on base. And next up for the Zephyrs is going to be Angel Durazo. We had a Durazo that was a pretty good hitter in the major leagues with the Diamondbacks. Here's a steal attempt, and he is going to be in without even a tag. The throw was a little late, and Escudero, as promised, wreaking havoc on the base paths. No score, bottom half of the first inning with the runner at second base and one out and Durazo at the plate. He takes a strike, good fastball down and away. And Angel, I don't think, liked the call too much. The Zephyrs coming off a very impressive Las Vegas tournament in which they won 2 national titles. Here's a ball ripped up the middle in the center field, base hit. And here is the center fielder Sanders getting it in quickly, and runners will be at first and third. So a clean single to center by Angel. First hit of the ball game. Rich Brito, the cleanup hitter, now digs in. He's got runners at first and second. Courtesy runner for Durazo at first. Bottom half of the first inning. Runner goes, and that is a called strike, even though that ball was actually in Tempe, Arizona, and that'll be a stolen base. So 2 for 2, as this one is lined back to the pitcher, Beatty, and he'll make the catch quite easily. Nice play on the defense. 2 down in the inning.
Number 11, Blaine Olson.
Now the fifth place hitter is Blaine Olson. Now bats with second and third and 2 out. Let's see if he hits like Matt Olson here. He almost has the same batting stance that holds the hands far from the body prior to the delivery, and that one's upstairs for ball 1. Except Matt Olson's a left-handed hitter. Bottom of the first, we're still scoreless with runners at second and third and 2 out. You're watching APMvideo.com. Beatty to the belt, looks the runners back, and now the pitch. And it's swung on, and a fly ball out in the right center field. This is going to be trouble. That ball's going to drop in for a hit. 1 run is going to score. 2 runs are going to score. And just like that, South Bay leads it 2-0. A clutch 2-out hit, and the good teams always seem to hit with 2 outs. Olson delivers 2, Escudero and Angel Durazo's courtesy runner. And now the first baseman digging in for the first time, taking a stride, Arbelo. He swings and bounces one to the second baseman, who will try to make the tag and will, and that'll be a fielder's choice to retire the side. After 1 inning of play, South Bay on a 2-run single by Blaine Olson leads it 2-0. And we're back here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Ulibarri will begin inning number 2, with Connecticut now trailing 2-0, and Pete Cesario back out there on the mound, his second inning of work. Struck out a hitter. He walked a hitter in the first inning, and now goes to work on the fifth place hitter in the lineup, Albert Ulibarri. And he starts him out with a couple of pitches outside the zone. And it's 3-0. Ulibarri, and then longtime member of the Connecticut Navigators, Greg Price. And Lanier, strike called. He needed it. And that's outside ball 4. Walked him on 5 pitches. Second walk issued by the man who was born in New York but eventually made it out to California, and delivers a strike call to Greg Price. Well, it was 10 years ago, almost to the day. If it wasn't on this day, I think it was at the very end of October that he pitched 22 innings, as this one's fouled out of play. As Pete Cesario pitched 22 innings inside of a 24-hour period. The quarterfinal, semifinal, and then in the finals just was amazing. I think he pitched at least 9, maybe 10 in that one. It was an extra innings victory. It was a 4-hour game, and I know that because I called it, and we filmed it. Here's a fly ball to left, and it's going to drop in front of the left fielder for a base hit. So the first two have reached here for Connecticut in the second. And that is their first hit of the game, thanks to Greg Price. Here's Ivan Lanier. See if they play a little small ball. They trail 2-0 here. Nope, he's swinging away. He had a good cut at that pitch as he was trying to hit it to the opposite field. The 0-1. And again, staying outside, and it's quickly 0-2. Lanier very aggressive at the plate. And protecting here, he went after a pitch that was up and fouls it off to the right. Now the 0-2 pitch again. And here's a ball hit over the head of the second baseman into right center, a base hit. Antone Henley gets to the ball pretty quickly. Here comes a throw to the plate, and it's not in time. The ball gets off the hands of the catcher, and both runners will move up. So Lanier will get an RBI single. Scoring Ulibarri, the lead is cut to 2-1, and runners are at second and third. Now the starting pitcher, John Beatty. And Beatty takes high and away ball one. But that was an amazing, one of the most amazing feats I've seen out here. The ability to, I think he wrapped up the quarterfinal and then pitched like a complete game in the semifinal, and they had no pitching left or very little left in the rotation, in the bullpen. He started the championship game. It was a low-scoring game, and he was awarded the most valuable player, playoff most valuable player. And very well deserved. I think he went something like 9 or 9+ as this one's drilled down the line and knocked down by Pedotti. The runner is going to score, and this game is tied, but Pedotti with a great job. He saved a run with that play. So John Beatty with an RBI. They get back-to-back RBIs. Still nobody out with runners at first and second, and we're tied at 2 here in the top of the second. Greg Shinda. I hadn't seen Greg in a while. I know back in the 2000s, we were filming these guys quite a bit, and almost feel like they kind of disbanded. Here's a steal attempt, and I could be wrong on that, and that's going to be a successful steal by Ivan Lanier. He's got the good wheels. You got a runner still at first base and starting pitcher John Beatty, who doesn't want to tire himself out too much. So Shinda at the plate. Still nobody out here in the top of the second. And there is a swing and a miss, and Shinda goes down on strikes. That is strikeout number 2 for MVP. Now the batter is going to be the other number 11, Todd Gordon. And the public address announcer got him mixed up a little bit. So this is Todd Gordon, and he takes a strike. Well, to be quite honest, it's very easy to tell these two guys apart, the two number 11s. He slaps one to the right side. They'll go second one, and the throw on to first is a double play. And the run will not count, and that is a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Neary and Augie Alonso over to first, and at the end of an inning and a half, it's 2-2.
Number 15.
John Neary to start it off, the second baseman, and he started off that big inning-ending double play. If they don't turn it, then the South Bay Zephyrs would be down a run right now and still on defense. So here's Neary going up against starter John Beatty, who gave up 2 runs in that first inning, a 2-run single by Blaine Olson. I think going into this game, we thought it would be a relatively low-scoring game and a good pitcher's duel between two veterans in Beatty and, of course, Pete Cesario. And a half-swing comebacker under the glove of the pitcher, and it's picked off by the second baseman who makes a nice play on it, Erwin Lanier, and there's one down. That is a really nice play. I mean, you got the distraction of the pitcher deflecting it and getting into your line of sight on that ground ball, and well, he fielded it like it was nothing. So here's Pete. Takes under the knees for ball one. First time up for him. One out, nobody on. Bottom of the second inning. South Bay batting. And a line shot out into left field down the line. And that's a fair ball. That ball's going to go down and rattle in the corner. And Pete's going to have an easy double. Nope, they said foul ball. I heard a couple of voices that said fair. It's a foul ball, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Beatty delivers. And here's a looper, back a second. And is he going to get the hit anyway? No. A great running catch by the speedy Ken Saunders for out number 2. Nice play by the Connecticut center fielder. Nice running play as he made the basket catch in shallow right center field. Now Mike Pedotti batting for the first time. Pedotti getting the start at third base. Swung on and popped up. Should be playable for the third baseman, and now he lost it. Well, he lost it in the sun, and that's Albert Ulibarri. So new life here for Mike Pedotti, who had a phenomenal series in that championship season, 1 of 5 for the ZEPHYRS in 2001. Here's a drive into left field, and he hit it a ton. It's over the head of the left fielder, and he's going to extend this second inning with a 2-out, 2-base hit. So already the 10th hitter in the lineup coming up here, and he's swinging at the first pitch. And Donnie Knoll. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out, runner at second here for the South Bay ZEPHYRS against Beatty. And he delivers a strike. It's 1-2. That went up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Go ahead run at second base. That's Mike Pedotti. The 2-2 pitch to Donnie. And he struck him out swinging to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on at the end of 2 with the first strikeout of the day for Beatty. It's a 2-2 tie from Tempe Diablo Stadium. All right, Jeff Lowry back here as we go to the top half of the third inning. Last hitter in the lineup is going to be number 30, and batting for the first time here today. Glenn Clare. The 11th hitter in the lineup here for Greg Shenda's Connecticut Navigators. The undefeated ZEPHYRS in a 2-2 tie, top of the third. High chopper, Pedotti, no. Augie Alonso, he's got time, and he rifles at the first base for out number 1. So there's 1 down in the inning on a nice 6-3 play by Augie. We go back out to the top of the order, and Mark Carrozza, and he swings and pops it up, and Pete is calling for it, and he's got it 2 down. So far a very efficient inning for the South Bay ZEPHYRS right-hander. So 2 up and 2 down here in the third. Paul Carrozza drew a walk but was left stranded in the first inning. Zephyrs got 2 in the first and then was countered by Connecticut's 2 in the top of the second, and only a 4-6-3 bang-bang double play prevented them from a bigger inning. This ball's hit to the right side. The throw to first. Nice job by Al scooping that one out of the dirt, and the side is retired. So Pete has a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the third inning. We go to the home half. The Zephyrs coming to the plate, tied at 2. We're in the 60 and over Cactus and getting a look at Antone Henley wearing the 66. He chops one to the right side and fielded nicely by the first baseman with Beatty the pitcher covering. And so Antone is an easy out to start things off here in the bottom half of the first inning. So that goes 3-1 if you're scoring at home. And we go back to the top of the order as both teams are batting 11 here. And here's a ground ball that is hit right at the third baseman. Ulibarri is up. He throws Augie Alonso out, who's 0 for 2. And there's 2 quick outs here in the third. Now, Gaston Escudera, who drew a hit, well, he was hit by a pitch. I was getting ready to say he walked, stole second, and then eventually came in on a 2-run single by Blaine Olson back in the first inning. Will bat with nobody on, 2 out here in the home half of the third inning. Augie with a slightly open stance and takes a strike. 0-1 the count on a borderline pitch. Next pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. So Augie trying to extend this third inning for the South Bay Zephyrs. Beatty winds, kicks, he deals, and here's a looping pop-up off the glove of the third baseman, and that'll be an infield hit for Gaston, and he is on for the second time. Now Angel Durazo, who had the first hit of the ball game. The Zephyrs have 4 hits in total. They got a runner at first and 2 out. And the first pitch in there, a called strike on Angel Durazo. Here in the bottom half of the third inning, 2-2 tie, 60 and over. The final game of this 60 and over Cactus division in terms of pool play as the playoffs start tomorrow. And Gaston is going to steal his second base of this afternoon. That's the third stolen base for the Zephyrs. And now Durazo with a chance to give the Zephyrs their second lead, and he lines one to right, but it's going to hold up and be caught, and that'll retire the side. Nice catch out in right field, and at the end of 3 from Tempe Diablo Stadium, we're still tied at 2 apiece on apnvideo.com. All right, we go now to the top of the 4th inning, and the Connecticut Navigators in a good battle here against Pete Cesario, who's now in his 4th inning of work. Ken Saunders, the speedy center fielder, will lead things off here. He was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. As Pete delivers and missed and comes back with a beautiful pitch to even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Saunders having a tough time picking up that arm angle and the ball coming out of the hand, and that is strike 3 called on a pitch that was about 4 or 5 inches off the outside part of the plate. But nonetheless, that's part of pitching, and you got to know your umpire. 1 down, and here is the cleanup hitter. He swings and pops it up, and it's out of play. No balls and 1 strike on Ivkovic. He's also today's starting catcher for Greg Shinda's Connecticut Navigators in the lighter blue tops and the gray pants. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike on him. And a foul will even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pete Cesario looking in, eyes a sign. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fly ball left field. Olson coming on, and he dropped the ball. I don't know if he lost it in the sun. That'll go as an error on the left fielder. And that is the first error by the defense of the Zephyrs here today. So Albert Ulibarri, who walked and scored back in the 2-run second for Connecticut. And he's up to the plate for the second time here this afternoon. 2-2 tie. Here in the top of the 4th, runner goes, and he will be in without a tag as it goes out into center field. So a stolen base, and I believe that's their first of the day. And a quick throw back, and they throw it away. So 2 errors has allowed Ivkovic to move to third. Actually, he had a courtesy runner who's Art Granado. So Granado is at third base. 1 out, chopping ball on a drawn-in infield. Augie Alonso looks the runner back and fires over to Al at first base. And that is a huge out for Pete Cesario and his Zephyrs here in the top of the 4th in a 2-2 tie with the go-ahead run at third base. Now Greg Price, he had a single and a run scored in the first. First pitch to him. In there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Connecticut got 2 in the top of the second after South Bay scored 2 in their first inning. A 2-run single by Blaine Olson that scored Escudero and Durazo. Slap to the first baseman, and Al dives for it, and the covering Cesario to the bag, and that's our Marucci big play of the day. How about that? A tremendous play at first base by Arbelo, and we will go to the bottom of the 4th inning from Tempe Diablo Stadium in a 2-2 tie with the cleanup hitter for the Zephyrs coming up, Rich Brito. 4th inning of work for the starter, John Beatty. Rich Brito lined out to the pitcher his first time up, and now he grounds out to the pitcher as John Beatty throws it over to first, and there's 1 down. Now the man who drove in a couple of runs his first time up, and that one is off the glove of the second baseman, Erwin Lanier. That'll go for an error. Olson, who had the 2-run single to account for the 2 RBIs for South Bay in this contest. So they got a runner at first with 1 out. And here's the first baseman digging in, who just made a tremendous play at first base. It saved a run, and it ended the inning. Let's see what Al can do here with a runner at first and 1 out. And the first pitch nearly hit him. 1 ball, no strikes to him. There goes the runner, and no, he is not. He started to, and then I think wisely retreated back to the bag at first. Smash foul, and just foul. That would have probably got the run in, as that one goes all the way down into the corner, and a couple of strikes on Arbelo, and that's a swing and a miss. He went down on strikes, and there's 2 down here in the inning. That is the second strikeout of the day for John Beatty. 2 down, and here is John Neary, starting second baseman here for the South Bay Zephyrs. In there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Grounded out to second base, his only time up back in inning number 2. There goes the runner. Here's the pitch, and the second baseman lost his footing, and that'll be an easy stolen base. 4 stolen bases in total now for the Zephyrs. We're in the bottom half of inning number 4, a 2-2 tie between the Zephyrs and Connecticut. Ivkovic, nice job of keeping that ball close. And John was tardy on the fastball. He might have been trying to take that one to right field and just let that ball travel too much. And now the next delivery is swung on and a line drive base hit into left field. It will not score the run as the throw comes in. It's going to be cut off by Beatty, the pitcher. And now Neary has to retreat back to first base before the right fielder comes in and picks him off. The other number 11, Todd Gordon. So you got runners at first and third with 2 out, and MVP'd at the plate. And the first pitch is a strike, and it's 0-1. First and third occupied, 2 out. We're in a 2-2 tie here in the bottom of the 4th. Wave and a miss, and Neary will take second. That is the 5th stolen base of the day for the South Bay Zephyrs. The 0-2 pitch, and it's low. Nice scoop there by John. That ball gets away. The South Bay Zephyrs would have a 3-2 lead. John Beatty on the mound, trying to dispose of Pete Cesario with the tying or the go-ahead run at third base, and he left it too high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The go-ahead run at third, 2 outs. Second and third, 2-2 tie, and a high pop foul, and that's going to be out of play. On this beautiful day, temperatures in the low 80s here in Phoenix. Week 3 of the MSBL World Series. And a slap ball to the shortstop. He's got it. And he'll throw on to first, and that'll retire the side. No runs with 2 left. The Zephyrs have left a total of 5 players altogether. And we go to the top of the 5th inning. We're back here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Jeff Lowry on the call of the game. And the first pitch is lined out in the center field off the bat of Yvonne Lanier. His second hit, he's 2 for 2. And he is aboard as he gets things started here for Connecticut in this 2-2 tie. We've got a great instant classic in the making here. That's a called strike to the starting pitcher, John Beatty, who had an RBI hit back in the second inning. And a big cut at that one. May have pulled that front shoulder out a little prematurely. And Al makes another outstanding play. If that ball gets away from the Zephyrs first baseman, that ball or that player at first base is probably at third. So that was a big play by Al. And how many runs has that guy kept from scoring today? So a broken bat, and John Beatty is back to the plate. He's 1 for 1 at the plate and looking to maybe push across the go-ahead run here in the top of the 5th for Connecticut. Pete Cesario on the mound, and inning number 5 for him. Here's a line drive to Pedotti, and he comes up with it. A line shot down at the hot corner, and Mike Pedotti catches it in the air, and there's 1 down. It was the old San Diego play-by-play, Jerry Coleman. He would say, hang a star on that one. That was one of his signature calls. And here's a bunt out in front of the plate by the manager, Greg Shenda, and he is out 1-3 on the sacrifice. So with 2 down, a runner at second base, the go-ahead run, and here is Erwin Lanier. Throw back to second, and that turned out to be a kind of a close play over there. So Ivan Lanier and Erwin Lanier, the twin brothers on this Connecticut Navigator team. And Erwin had a good cut at that high pitch. I'll tell you what, there's that shifting MSBL umpire strike zone again. An inning ago, that was a strike. That was a strike. And I think Pete got that call an inning or two ago. But here in the top of the fifth inning, no go. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes on Erwin, batting with a runner at second. The go-ahead run. And 2 out, and he's hanging in there. He's running up the Pete Cesario pitch count. And he grounds one to Augie. His only play is to first. He gobbles it up and throws across, and the side is retired. We head to the home half of inning number 5 from Goodyear. And a nice play on both sides there as the Zephyrs come to the plate. Halfway through this affair, tied at 2. All right, we go to the home half of the 5th inning. 2-2 tie, and it'll be Mike Pedotti to lead things off here. Pedotti and then Donnie Knoll and Antone Henley. 2 runs, 6 hits, 5 stranded for the South Bay Zephyrs so far. Connecticut has 2 runs on 4 hits as this one's lined out into left field. And Mike Pedotti is 2 for 2 at the plate. He doubled back in the second, and he adds a 5th inning single to his credit. Donnie Knoll up there trying to bunt and nearly got decapitated. Grounds it to third, but it's a foul ball. So no balls and 1 strike on Donnie. He squares the bunt again and lays down a beauty. First base side, that'll go 3 unassisted. You got a runner at second. Now with 1 out, and the batter is going to be Antone Henley. Antone grounded out. First base to pitcher, 3-1, scoring at home, and takes inside ball 1. The Zephyrs have won 5 national championships. They won 2, well, I guess it's 7 now. I know they've won 5 in the MSBL. I don't know how many they've won outside of this. But they did win back-to-back in the Las Vegas championship. And they're feeling pretty good about themselves. 5-0 by way of record here in the 2024 60 and over Cactus. And that bat exploded. And they will take it to the bag, and the pitcher covering. Nice play. 2 down, and that'll bring up Ron Martin, who will be added to the bottom of the order. There's Mike Pedotti. Ron Martin added to the bottom of the order, and now technically the 12 spot. Takes low, ball 1. Good hustle by Beatty covering home plate. You'll see a lot of pitchers just forget about the runner at third. And here's a chopping ball down to third, and this should retire the side. The throw across the infield is in time at the end of 5 from Tempe Diablo Stadium. We're still tied at 2 apiece on the APN Baseball Network. Get a wide shot of Tempe Diablo Stadium as we head now to the top of the 6th inning. The Zephyrs, the home team, against the Connecticut Navigators. There's one of the long-running teams in this MSBL World Series. Pete Cesario, the starting pitcher, comes out for inning number 6. And a pop-up that's going to probably land, well, it did land in no man's land. Glenn Clare, the final hitter in the lineup for Greg Shinda's Navigators, and he hits one to the right side. Neary knocks it down, picks it up, and throws him out for out number 1. So a good start here in inning number 6. So Clare is retired, and we should go back to the top of the order, and there he is, the founder of the South Bay Zephyrs, Antone Henley.
Campbell.
I'll tell you, you know, Antone and I, we talked several times throughout the year as they're going to add a new hitter or someone to the bottom. This is Trace Campbell. Batting for the first time, pop up. That's a tough play. And he tries to make the basket catch, but the batter is out because he left the batter's box and did not even attempt to run. So that'll be an unassisted put out for Pete, and he's getting razzed by the home plate umpire. I hope Pete doesn't turn around and razz him for his shifting strike zone here today. No, he actually's been pretty consistent. All right, with 2 out, here's Mark Corrosive. I was getting ready to say that Antone and I, we talked several times, and it's never like 5-minute call. I mean, we talk for an hour. Sometimes we've talked 2 hours, and we'll talk baseball 90% of the time. Here's a pop-up, and it's going to drop in. That's an in-betweener, and it's really tough because that's more of the third baseman's play than the pitcher, but it was hit so – it wasn't hit high enough, and I think Pete felt like he should have made an effort to get there. And now goes an infield hit for Mark, and he is heading to second, and he is out from here to there. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning from Tempe Diablo Stadium. 60 and over Cactus. Nice throw there by the catcher. And we're still tied at 2 apiece. Augie Alonso, top of the order here. Do you get the feeling that this is the Zephyrs inning? I just have this gut feeling. You got Augie leading off the home half of the 6th. John Beatty has been very good on the mound. He has scattered 7 hits. The Zephyrs have left 6 runners on base. He has struck out 2 and has had really good command throughout. In fact, I don't think that he has walked a batter. No, I had to check. He hit Gaston earlier in the game. Fly ball center field, and the ball's going to be dropped by Sanders. Boy, he really got a little lazy on that one. I'll tell you what, I know my high school coach as the runner goes, and that is going to be an easy stolen base, and that is the 6th steal of the day. So it's an error on the center fielder, I was getting ready to say, as Gaston digs in there. And Sky's one out of play. He's been hit by a pitch. Base hit, stolen base, 2 stolen bases, and a run scored. And one time, I think it was my first high school game. And I don't even think we were in the regular season yet. It was like a scrimmage. And I never, unless it was just a difficult play, I was always one-handing it like that. Because I had the confidence as this one's grounded to shortstop, and it's under the glove. He knocks it down, but will not have a play. That'll go for an infield hit. I don't think he would have threw him out. 1st and 3rd occupied, and Gaston is going to get his 3rd stolen base and the 7th of the day by the Zephyrs. But they're a long ways from the MSBL record that we covered last week. A combined 47 steals between, I think it was the Oklahoma City Classics. We lost track, but it was something like 45 or 47, grounded to a drawn-in infield. Nice play by Ivan. He'll hold the runner at first, and there's one down. 6-3, runner still at 2nd and 3rd. Good play by the Navigators shortstop, and now Rich Brito. Anyway, I one-handed this fly ball, and I caught it. And I'm just feeling happy. I'm running back into the dugout, and my coach runs all the way out to shallow left field. I'll never forget it. And he yells at me, and he says, 2 hands, Lowry, 2 hands. And I looked at him like he was crazy. So now I've been out here doing these games for all these years. I see a lot of guys that do that really shouldn't. As Brito has lined out and bounced out both plays, both at-bats to the pitcher. And I say, man, these guys should be using 2 hands. Ground ball, and right back to the mound. Boy, he's keeping Beatty in business here. He is Batted ball 3 times to him, and there's 2 down. So the Zephyrs here in the 6th with runners at second and third are 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. And now Blaine Olson, he had a 2-run single in the first to account for the only 2 runs of the game for South Bay, and he takes the first pitch low. Now me, I think if you're good, you're confident, I have no problem with it. But if you're not that sure catching a fly ball, you need to use 2 hands. One ball, 1 strike on Blaine. He's 1 for 2, and he had a really good cut at that one. Good, nice level bat. That bat was really long in the strike zone. I'm surprised he missed it. May have pulled his head just a bit. And now the 2-strike pitch is swung on, and a looper over the head of the shortstop, and the Zephyrs go out 3-2. What a clutch 2-out, 2-strike base hit RBI for Olson. He's driven in each of the 3 runs for the South Bay Zephyrs, and here in the bottom of the 6th inning, they lead it 3-2. Just a clutch base hit. And here's a line drive by Al, and that's going to plate the 4th run, the 2nd run of the inning, and it's 4-2 Zephyrs. Back-to-back 2-out RBI singles by South Bay, which is the western side of Los Angeles, getting over there by Snoop Dogg territory in Compton. And it's 4-2, 10 hits now in total for the Zephyrs. And now John Neary, he had a base hit his last time up. The second baseman has a 1 for 2 day at the plate, and he's ahead in the count on Beatty at 1 ball, now make it 2 balls and no strikes. Jeff Lowry with you from APM Video Sports. And it's 3-0. Strike called. 3 balls and 1 strike on John. Grounded out to the second baseman to start the 2nd inning. And strike called on a borderline pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that'll retire the side. But the Zephyrs get 2, and they take the lead 4-2. We're going to the 7th on APM Video Sports. Jeff Lowry from Tempe Diablo Stadium with the call of the game, and towing the rubber is the veteran MVP, Pete Cesario, New York native. Moved to California when he was 10, and here's the first pitch, or the second pitch, ground ball, base hit center field by Paul Carrozza.
Number 32, Ken Saunders.
Only the 6th hit against Pete. He's walked a couple of batters. He has struck out 3 in the game. And he's given up 6 hits in total as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Next up here for Connecticut is Ken Saunders. A good ball player here, but that really hurt. That error in center field. 2 unearned runs against John Beatty. And Pete, a little early on the release, and nearly decapitated Mr. Saunders, who takes a strike. This one is popped up, and who wants it? Augie makes the one-handed grab, and there's 1 down. Now the catcher, who has reached on an error and grounded to shortstop. One out with a runner at first base. The windup and the pitch. In there for a strike. Good two-seam fastball tailing in. Well, in this date in baseball history, going back to 1961, remember, without the extended playoffs, as this one's popped up third base side, that's a foul ball. And now over at third base is Rich Brito. Not a whole lot going on October 31st in the history of the game, as this one's grounded to Augie. He goes second one, Neary on to first, and it's not in time. Fielder's choice, 2 down. But, back in the day, they only had, you didn't even have a league championship series before 1969. It was the best record team in the National League and the American League. So if the Yankees won had the best record at the end of the regular season, and the Brooklyn Dodgers, they would play in the World Series. There was no playoffs. That was the playoffs. But in this day, October 31st, 1961, as Albert Ulibarri bats, a federal judge rules that Birmingham, Alabama, laws against integrated playing fields are illegal, eliminating the last barrier of the integration in the Southern Association. And 6 years later, San Francisco's Mike McCormick, as this one's bounced to short. Augie goes to second, and that is that. So a good, efficient inning for Pete Cesario. And we'll have more as we go to the bottom of the seventh inning stretch from Tempe Diablo. And it's now 4-2, Zephyrs.
For the 7th inning stretch. So fans, get up, stretch your legs.
MVP will start things off as we go to the home half of the inning. It was a significant year in Major League Baseball history, as that one almost got him. 1 ball and no strikes on Pete, and he takes a strike. 1-1. Pedotti and Knoll to follow, scheduled. Mike McCormick, the league leader in 22 victories, becomes the first National League Cy Young Award winner. It was the first year, as Pete goes down. Don't want to get your starting pitcher hurt, because I know he wants to go the distance on the mound. And there's one of our special people and with this team for so many years. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and down he goes. That's the first time he has struck out. 2 strikeouts in a row, and 4 for John Beatty, who's pitched a very good game. He's given up only 2 earned runs, and now Mike Pedotti. All he's done is doubled and singled. But in 1969, baseball awarded a Cy Young for both leagues for the first time. It was just a one-man award from the late, I don't remember what year the first one was, like 57 or something like that, late 50s, mid to late 50s. And Mike McCormick was the first, and Jim Lomborg for the Boston Red Sox was the first in the American League. And a few years later, in 1972, Gaylord Perry wins the AL Cy Young over one of my all-time favorite pitchers, as that's ball 4 to Pedotti, Wilbur Wood. Perry won 24 games for the 5th place Cleveland Indians. Tom Seaver on Halloween 73 wins the NL Cy Young Award. There goes the runner, and the pitch and the throw is not in time. So another steal, 8 for 8 in stolen bases today for the Zephyrs. Tom Seaver won it the first time the honors has gone to a pitcher with fewer than 20 wins. As that one's bunted foul. Seaver in 1973 won 19 games against 10 losses and a blistering 2.08 ERA and 251 strikeouts. The future Hall of Famer and winemaker won 3 Cy Youngs in his career and had 8 consecutive 200 strikeout seasons. Fly ball center, and Sanders drops another one. Throw to second. And so Donnie is aboard. Runners at first and third, and let's see if Antone Henley can come through here. He is 0 for 2, and he is due. Let's see if he brings out the typical Antone Henley angry swing. And there it was. That's my angry swing. He's got runners at first and third. Going up against Beatty. So every run in this inning could very well be unearned, but you got a runner at third. He would not be at third base had it not been for the error. All right, Antone rocking there in that left-handed batter's box. Levels the bat a couple of times. Beatty kicks and deals. And here's a line drive base hit in the right field. That will give him a big, big insurance run, a clutch hit with one out here in the seventh inning. And Antone Henley with a base hit to right field. That plates Mike Pedotti, and it's 5-2 in favor of the Zephyrs. Right now, that would be an unearned run. Runners are at first and second, and now Augie Alonso. And the first pitch is a strike. Actually, this is going to be Ron Martin again. Thought maybe they would go back to the top of the order. So Martin batting. He grounded out the third when he was added to the bottom of the order in the fifth. He rips one out of play to the right side. So one out with runners at first and second. A run is in. South Bay leads it by a score of 5-2. It was a 2-2 game until South Bay scored twice in the bottom of the sixth inning. Here's the pitch. Here's a ground ball to the right side. The second baseman fields. He'll get one at second. And the throw on to first is a double play, and that'll retire the side. 4-6-3, started by Irwin. And at the end of 7 innings of play, the Zephyrs lead it 5-2 on APN. And he wasn't there. All right, we go now to the top of the 8th inning. Well, the Zephyrs add a big, big insurance run on a line drive base hit by Antone Henley to right field. This one is popped up and just out of the outstretched glove of Zephyrs first baseman Greg Price to lead things off. So we are in the top of the 8th inning, and we're coming up on that 3-hour time thresh. Here's a threshold. That's a ground ball foul on this October 31st, 2024. And Pete Cesario is still in there. Some notable MLB birthdays on this date, as this one is slapped into right field, and Greg Price has his second hit in 3 tries. Hit number 7 against Pete Cesario. Former standout Baltimore left-hander Dave McNally was born on this date in 1942, and Mick the Quick Rivers. I know a lot of you remember him, born in 1948. Dave Freisleben was a gentleman that died while as an active player. That doesn't happen very often, as Ivan Lanier looking for his 3rd hit in 3 tries. Matt Noakes, outstanding catcher, was born in 1963, as well the crime dog, Fred McGriff, on this date. World Championship catcher Eddie Taubensee in 1968 for the Cincinnati Reds. They won it in 1990. Was born on this date. As this one's grounded to short, Augie's got it. He'll flip to second. They'll get one there, and that is all. Lanier with good speed gets down the line, and there's one down. Augie has been a big difference in this game with his solid, steady defense. And one reason why in a low-scoring game, if he makes one error, if he had made one error in this game, maybe with a runner in scoring position, it could be a different story. So the pitcher, who was robbed on a great catch at third and has a single and an RBI, John Beatty, and he's pitched a really good ball game. Here's a throwdown, and the stolen base attempt is successful. Good throw by the catcher, but to no avail. Runner at second with one out. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Got about 12 minutes left to go in the 3-hour limits. Can't start a new inning. And this one's going to allow that runner up to third base. He's 90 feet away from scoring. Steve Traxel was also born on this date. Here's a ground ball down to third. And Brito throws to first and out. Holding the runner at third base, 2 down in the inning, and now Greg Shinda. Shinda is 0 for 2, had a sacrifice bunt, and takes inside ball 1. Steve Traxel, pretty good pitcher, had some good years. Damon Mayshore, David DeLucci played here in Arizona for the Diamondbacks, came up with the Diamondbacks. And Shinda pops it up. It will land and picked up by Brito, and his throw, the tag. Al has done it again. Another web gem for the South Bay first baseman. We are heading to the bottom half of inning number 8. This might be our last inning. Zephyrs up by 3. Augie Alonso to start things off. Augie looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 3, but he reached on an error on the drop ball by Ken Sanders and came around to score. Solid defense by the Zephyrs, one of the keys to them being in the lead, and they're 8 for 8 in stolen bases. Conversely, Connecticut has had only 2 stolen bases in this game, so that really pays off. Plus, they were caught stealing one other time. And those things do add up. I mean, 8 stolen bases as this one's lined and right at the third baseman. Fine play by Ulibarri, and there's 1 down. Now Gaston. That would be the French pronunciation. Gaston Escudero. 2 hits, a hit batsman, and 3 at-bats. He has 3 of the 8 stolen bases for the Zephyrs. He has scored a run. Bottom half of the 8th inning, the Zephyrs lead it 5-2. John Beatty still out there. Good job. No balls and 2 strikes. Even with a 3-run lead, you'd like to add 1 more if you are the Zephyrs. And here's a line drive. He has had 3 straight hits as it falls in front of the left fielder. So a 3 for 3 day for Gaston Escudero. And he's all smiles over there. And here's Angel Durazo. He's 1 for 3, had a single and a run scored. Came in to score on that Blaine Olson 2-run single back in the first. We were 2-2 at the end of 5.5, but the Zephyrs put up 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and lead it 5-2. There goes the runner. Here's the throw, and it's not in time, and Gaston has his 4th stolen base of the day, the 9th for the Zephyrs, and they're 9 for 9 in that category. And Durazo takes ball 4. So there's 2 on with 1 out, and here's the cleanup hitter and third baseman Rich Brito. And he's due. He's looking for his first hit, and he takes a first pitch offering a called strike. Well, if you were just wondering the deaths on this day in Major League Baseball history, as this one's popped out of play, 1933, one of my all-time favorites, Charlie Loudenslager. I'm kidding. There's really no real notables on this date. Popped up to the shortstop and tried to make a basket catch, infield fly rule. And the runner will advance. Well, wait a minute. Now they've got a runner caught up in a rundown here. Augie Alonso, the courtesy runner for Durazo. And I think what has happened here, that's an infield fly rule with runners at first and second, less than 2 outs. The batter is out. But I don't know why they just stopped and I don't get that at all. That'll be a steal. That's not, actually, that is Brito at second base. That's 10 for 10 in steal attempts. And a chopper that's foul as Blaine Olson is the batter. So Brito is out, but then he went in the courtesy run. And a line drive to the second baseman. He can't pick it up. And the run is going to score, and it's 6-2. How big of an insurance run is that? That's going to be an RBI hit. Blaine Olson has 4 RBIs on 3 separate RBI at-bats. And here in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Zephyrs lead 6-2. I think that's going to be all for the starting pitcher. You really can't blame him. I think he pitched a very good ball game. 30 at second base. 30. So Claire moves to second, and here's a drive. Way back into deep left field, and Al's going to have extra bases. That ball is going to roll all the way to the wall, and 2 runs are going to score. Boy, he's had as big a day at the plate. 3 RBIs for Al. But his play at first base has been monumental, and it is now 8-2 in favor of the Zephyrs. He'll get a courtesy runner. Rich Brito is back out there. John Neary, the second baseman. 1 for 3, a 4th inning single to his credit, and he lines one to shortstop and into left center field, a base hit. Let's see if the runner tries to score. Here comes the throw in, and it's going to be cut off by Beatty, who's still in there as the starting pitcher, working in his 8th inning of work. So Neary, a nice day at the plate. He ends with a 2 for 4 day. And now Pete takes inside, ball 1. Pete Cesario looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3, but he's been sensational on the mound, and he's going to get it. He goes inside out swing to right field. They'll go first to third, and Pete's got himself an RBI single, and now it's 9-2 Zephyrs. 17 hits now, and Mike Pedotti puts a charge into one, deep to left field, and it's going to go all the way to the warning track. 2 runs may score. Now they're going to hold up Pete at third, and that is a double. His second double of the day. Another run is in. 10-2 South Bay. They have opened it up here, and this may very well be the final half inning of the ball game. Yeah, I think we have passed the 3-hour time mark, depending on when first pitch actually happened. So Mike Pedotti with 3 hits, a walk, a run scored, and an RBI, 2 doubles. And a 10-2 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Swing and a ground ball to the shortstop. He's got it. He throws, and the play is made, and it looks like we will go to the top of the 9th inning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs come across, and right now it's all Zephyrs, and they lead at 10-2. We go to the top of the 9th inning. All right, Connecticut coming up for what Pete Cesario, the starting pitcher, now going for the complete game, hopes to be the final time. It'll be Todd Gordon to lead things off, and he swings and rolls one to the shortstop. And taking his time and throwing him out is Augie Alonso. One down here in the ninth. Augie Alonso, one of the most valuable players in this game, and he did not get a base hit at the plate. And there is another one of the stars of the game. 8 in a third inning of only 2-run baseball, as this one is going to loop out into shallow right field. Base hit for Claire. Only the 8th hit given up by Pete Cesario. They're going to add a player to the bottom of the order, and this is Granado. Batting for the first time, and the pitch is upstairs, ball 1. Top of the 9th inning, most likely the last at-bat for Connecticut. 10-2 Zephyrs. They're in the field. They have the lead. And a high fly ball in the shallow left field, and coming on and making the catch is the Zephyrs left fielder Blaine Olson, who drove in 4 runs, another potential star of the game. 2 down. And that'll bring up Kevin the Rock, and he takes a strike. And a high pop-up, third base side, and he can't make the play. Oh, my. Rich Brito, he had it. The Kangaroo Court is going to make a lot of money at the end of this game. Check it again on our replay. One more time. Augie Alonso made us do that, by the way, so blame him. Here's the pitch. So new life for the hitter. Granado at the plate. 1 out, and a ball hit to the right side. Neary picks it up. He'll throw to first. And that is your ball game. A very impressive late surge by the offense after this game was tied at 2 for a good part of it. And what a performance by MVP. He goes a complete game, scattering 8 hits and 2 runs, and he's the victor. And so are the Zephyrs, who finish round-robin play undefeated. Our final score from Tempe Diablo Stadium, the Zephyrs 10 and the Navigators 2. This has been a presentation of APN Sports. Our game today brought to you by the South Bay Zephyrs Baseball Network. Until next time, and a special thanks to Antone Henley. Jeff Lowry saying so long, everybody.